Carthaginians went and colonized Spain. You see this dark part of Spain right here? Right. That's colonized by the Carthaginians. Did y'all know that? This whole area right here, colonized by Carthaginians. So the Moors weren't the first blacks to go into Spain. All right? What the Italians do is take Corsica and Sardinia, because this infuriated the Carthaginians even further. But the whole purpose of going into Spain was simply to prepare themselves for the next battle. And the Romans, they were distrustful of Carthaginians, but I don't think that they foresaw what was about to come. And this is what was about to come. This gentleman right here. Now, I already told you, born of Carthaginian culture and society, born of Phoenician culture and society, but he was definitely a special and unique person. But was he special because of who he was in particular as an individual? Or was he created by a particular set of circumstances? All right. Now he was born in Carthage, but he went to Spain with his father when he was very young. Either he was 6 years old or 9 years old. Nonetheless, he was very young, and he begged and pleaded with his father to go to Spain. We're talking about 17 years. He was 9. 17 years of training, socialization, preparation to sustain this battle. All right. From day one, they already knew the responsibility of this young soldier. All right. We have a multitude of young soldiers out there with no guidance, and because they still have that warrior spirit, they recognize all of the hypocrisies in society. They've turned on self. They kind of turned on each other. But that is the warrior spirit with them. And that is the shortcoming of us, our shortcoming, because we haven't prepared them. We haven't directed them to know who the true enemy is. This was not Hannibal's situation. His father ensured that he knew from day one our true rival, our true enemies are those Romans over there in Europe. All right, and bear that in mind. Not the Numidians, not fellow Carthaginians, not the Spaniards, but those Romans over there in Europe. And I love this picture right here. Any artists? Do we have any artists in here? We have no artists? A couple? All right. This picture right here, I'm not even going to tell y'all what company produced this picture right here. Y'all want to know? Anheuser-Busch. And I saw it, I said, come on, man. It's shameful, I guess, marketing. Nonetheless, they did get it right. Now, this is an unapologetic picture right here. Look at this. He's not portrayed as a mulatto. He's not he's not being portrayed as light-skinned, trying to avoid the issue. He here is clearly portrayed as an African, and a majestic African, a powerful African, not a cowering character, not simply a comedian, but an African right here determined to take care of business. And you can see here by his train behind him. He's on an elephant, and his train has other elephants behind him. All right. Now remember, one of the terms of the agreements was that there was supposed to be no attacking the other's allies. But like I told you, they knew, Carthaginians knew that they were going to fight again. Right? So he attacked the Roman ally Saguntum. This is in northern Spain. And the Romans did not want to fight. They did not want to get into another battle with the Carthaginians, and pleaded with the Senate. Rang in Hannibal. All right, tell him to slow down with all of what he's doing. But they didn't. Reason why they didn't? Well, Of course, they were bitter about the previous conflict. Another thing is that Hannibal was filling the coffers of Carthage. He was providing them with a lot of wealth in tin and silver from Spain. But another thing is they had the power of foresight. They just simply didn't ignore what was likely to become. They knew their history. They knew that they had been signing treaties for centuries. They knew that they had already gotten into a war. And even after that, had lost valued colonies. They were looking at the way things were likely to proceed. If you want to do whatever, and it calls for you to speculate about what's going to happen in the future, you need to look at the past. And I'm not talking about like my mama, my grandmama, in the way that most people do. I'm talking about look at the whole of your cultural heritage. Look at the way things have gone since certain relationships began. And that will give you some idea of the way that they are likely to proceed. And they knew, as far as their relationship with the Romans were concerned, things were not likely to get better. They were going to have to defend themselves at some time. And to be frank with you, that is the contemporary situations of Africans. We're going to have to stand up at some time. I'm not saying be irresponsible. I'm simply saying accept that reality and prepare for that reality. Now, Hannibal is best known for this trek across the Alps right here. This is what he's best known for. And these mountains right here, the Alps, are, well, I'm going to show you a picture of them, a real picture of them in a minute. Very challenging task to cross the Alps with 50,000 with 50,000 foot soldiers. Very, very challenging. Right. And this, you see how rocky this is, how unlevel this is? This is the highest point in the Alps that he crossed. Right. With 50,000 troops, 9,000 cavalrymen, and several dozens of elephants. So he's not just doing this like, he knows it's not going to be a cakewalk. He's determined. He's looking into the future. He knows what's at stake, put it that way. And I try to remind myself of that all the time. What's at stake if you don't do what you're supposed to do, Brother Keparai? Not only for myself, but for the people that I'm responsible for. Hannibal knew what was at stake, which is the only reason why he took on this task. The reason why Hannibal is even a household name is because of this particular set of battles. Y'all know this boot right here. We call that Italy today. Ticinus, which is a river. Trebia, also a river. Here's Rome. And here is Cannae. All right. Down here, way down here, is where Carthage is. But like I've already told you, the Carthaginians, under the leadership of Hamilcar, and then eventually his son Hannibal, established Spain as a stronghold to get their reserves up and their numbers in people, and also silver reserves, colonized this area. They attacked a Roman ally, Saguntum, up here in the north, which brought about the Second Punic War, proceeded to cross the Alps, the Alpine Mountains over here, with about 90,000 people, and sent back about 30,000 of them or so. By the time they crossed the Alps, they had about 50,000 troops, 50,000 infantrymen, like on foot, and about 10,000 cavalrymen on horses. One of the first battles was Ticinus, and what's intriguing about this is the way that Hannibal consistently manipulated the Romans. And if you accept that you have a rival, you need to know your strengths and weaknesses, and you need to have some idea of the strengths and weaknesses of that rival. All right. Now, if you're an African in America, if you're looking at your history in America, you can understand the arrogance of Europeans, essentially. And this is what happened here. They wanted Hannibal so much because he eluded them all the way from the time that he crossed over into Europe. And several of these generals were trying to make a name for themselves, finally met up with Hannibal at Trebia. They thought that he would undertake their traditional form of warfare, which they are called skirmishes or pitched battles, where you fight and then withdraw, fight, then withdraw. But in this case, he threw them off by putting his stronger troops in the center and attacked them straight down the middle. Then he used a tactic that he has become known for, which many